The story of the Garden of Eden is one of the most well-known accounts from the Bible, specifically from the book of Genesis. It is often seen as a foundational myth in Judeo-Christian traditions, detailing the creation of humanity, the first paradise, and the beginning of human fallibility. Here's a summary of the story, including how it was created and where it is believed to be today. In the Genesis narrative, the Garden of Eden was created by God as a perfect, lush paradise where the first humans, Adam and Eve, were placed to live. The Bible states that God created the heavens and the earth, and on the sixth day, he created man in his own image. Adam was placed in the Garden of Eden, which was situated in a land called Eden, where he was to tend and care for it. The Garden of Eden was described as a place of incredible beauty and abundance. There were rivers that watered the garden and trees that bore all kinds of fruit, with one special tree, the tree of life, that granted eternal life. In the center of the garden stood another tree, the tree of the knowledge of good and evil, from which Adam and Eve were commanded not to eat. God also created Eve from one of Adam's ribs to be his companion. They lived in perfect harmony with nature and each other, free from shame and suffering. However, the idyllic paradise was soon disrupted by a pivotal event. A serpent, traditionally identified with Satan, tempted Eve to eat the fruit from the tree of the knowledge of good and evil. Despite God's clear command, Eve ate the fruit and then gave some to Adam, who also ate it. This act of disobedience introduced sin into the world. Their eyes were opened and they became aware of their nakedness, feeling shame for the first time. As a consequence of their disobedience, God cast Adam and Eve out of the Garden of Eden. They were no longer allowed to live in paradise, and the world became a place of pain, suffering, and mortality. The serpent was cursed, and Eve was told she would experience pain in childbirth. Adam was told that the ground would be cursed, and he would have to work hard to produce food. The precise location of the Garden of Eden is a matter of debate and mystery. The Bible provides a few geographical clues, mentioning 4 rivers that flowed from Eden: the Pishon, Gihon, Tigris or Hiddekel, and Euphrates. The Tigris and Euphrates are real rivers located in the Middle East, so some scholars and religious traditions have speculated that Eden might have been located in what is now modern-day Iraq, near the confluence of these 2 rivers. However, the other rivers mentioned in Genesis, Pishon and Gihon, do not have definitive modern counterparts, which has led to uncertainty about the exact location of the garden. Some interpretations suggest that these rivers might have been renamed or changed their course over time, while others believe the story of Eden is more symbolic than literal. Another theory posits that the Garden of Eden was located in a now submerged region, possibly in the Persian Gulf, which was once a fertile plain before being flooded. This would also explain the loss of the garden's physical location. From a theological perspective, some believe that the Garden of Eden may not be a real geographical place at all, but a symbolic representation of a state of purity and closeness to God, something lost through human sin. Different religious traditions have different interpretations of the story. For Jews, the Garden of Eden represents the ideal state of humanity before the fall into sin, a time of innocence and direct communion with God. Christians often see the fall as the moment when original sin entered the world, and they interpret the loss of Eden as a precursor to Christ's redemptive work. In Islam, the story is similar, though there are variations. In the Quran, Adam and Eve, referred to as Hawa in Arabic, are placed in paradise but are later tempted by Satan, leading to their expulsion. The literal Garden of Eden is not considered to be physically accessible today, and no conclusive evidence has been found to identify its exact location. However, the story continues to hold deep symbolic and spiritual significance for many people. The narrative is often used to discuss themes of temptation, free will, the consequences of human actions, and the relationship between humanity and God. Some traditions believe that the Garden of Eden, or at least the Tree of Life, will one day be restored in a future paradise, as prophesied in the Christian book of Revelation, which speaks of a new heaven and new earth. In summary, the Garden of Eden is a central story in the Bible that speaks to the origins of humanity, the nature of human choice, and the loss of paradise due to sin. Its location is unknown and may not be a physical place at all, but its impact on religious thought and culture is profound and enduring.